if I could take you back to the lockdown. I mean, I was very struck when you were talking there about the expansionist way in which these judgments are increasingly being made on the basis of what the judges think the law ought to say rather than what it says. The right for prisoners to father children, the freezing Swiss marmots, the right not to be overcrowded when you enter Europe illegally. Britain, prior to 1950, was not in the habit of violating these rights. You know, we were pretty much the definition of a country that didn't. We and the other Anglosphere states. So we weren't given these rights. You know, as Aldous Huxley says, liberties are not given; they're taken. I can only think of one occasion in my life when there really was a mass violation of what I think of as basic human rights, and that was in March 2020, when we were forbidden to enjoy our property, we were forbidden to travel, and we were effectively confined to house arrest, something which in law normally requires an extremely high threshold, but which was done on the basis of the flimsiest of evidence, which later turned out to be erroneous. And this is what really struck me. The one time that there really was a mass removal of human rights, the thing that the ECHR authors were conscious of protecting against, where were the cohorts of human rights lawyers? With the exception of Lord Sumption, they were almost all cheering it on. And I wonder whether that doesn't slightly change the whole parameters within which this debate is being conducted, now that we've had that example.
I think that's a very good point. I mean, certainly, the people who would normally be, so to speak, on the activist side on human rights issues were also very much on the side of wanting more lockdown. I mean, I think in retrospect, it's clear, and as this great inquiry rolls on, and as the sort of retrospective hostility to Boris grows and grows, it's clear that everyone now just wants to blame the Conservatives for this terrible misjudgment, or a whole string of misjudgments, forgetting that the Labour Party was calling for longer lockdowns.
Oh, so was everybody else.
At the time, and everyone else, and indeed opinion
including,
polls.
By the way, Nigel Farage. I remember him at the beginning,
I'd forgotten that.
You know, lambasting Boris for not locking down hard enough. We've been through the most extraordinary amnesia as a country.
Yes. So, so it's not a coincidence that there wasn't a great amount of outcry from human rights lawyers, because on the whole, they tend to be on the progressivist, activist side of the equation. I mean, just think about it. How do you choose your career? It's the people who are sort of motivated to push further the boundaries of human rights that go into that line of law. You won't make your name as a human rights lawyer if you achieve some absolutely compelling judgment that actually pulls back on human rights.
But do you think that's a conscious choice? I mean, I'm struck when I return to occasional Gordies here, and I look at what are the people who are on the hard left as undergraduates doing now. Generally, some of them are working for the BBC, and some of them are civil servants, but most are lawyers. And I wonder whether there wasn't a decision, I don't know, a conscious thought by some of them that they would be advancing an agenda that might struggle to get through at the ballot box, and with the bonus that you're a lot better remunerated as a lawyer than as a politician.
Yes, I think this is not to be excluded, though perhaps more as a sort of underlying, somewhat sublimated assumption rather than a sort of clever strategy to be pursued like some sort of personal conspiracy.